Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the World War II British machine guns by HaT. These guys were released in 2009 in conjunction with the World War II British mortar set, and the two sets complement each other quite nicely. This set is in 172 and has 32 figures, which equates to about 8 poses. And basically they're a nice little set, I must say. So we're going to have a look at the box first, and we will get into the sprue then. Box itself, as you can see on the front, figure depicted carrying a Vickers machine gun with a, looks like number 4 rifle slung over his shoulder, Lee Enfield number 4. That figure doesn't come in the box, but it's just kind of just to give you an idea of what it is you're purchasing, I suppose, British soldiers, and it's in the story. Box itself fairly straightforward. What's nice about it with the HaT stuff is it gives a nice illustration on the back there. Now they do say World War II British machine guns, but you also get, as you can see there in the illustration, a boy's anti-tank rifle, a Bren Gunner in the prone position, a HaT anti-tank device, a flamethrower there in the centre. You get your crew for the Vickers, you get a Bren in a sort of a ready kneeling position there, and you get a rangefinder, and of course you get your Vickers machine gun, which is quite nice. Basically the only bit of assembly required really in this is the Vickers itself. You need to put the rangefinder and head onto that figure as well, and the Bren and the boys need to be kind of assembled as well, but they're very simple little pieces, a little bit of super glue, and you can't go wrong. So let's have a look at the sprue itself while we're here. We'll look at it this way. I'll just move the box out of the way for you guys. So on the top left there you have the guy with he's the number 2 for the Vickers obviously, and he is feeding the ammunition belt of 303 rounds to that gun. Next to him we have a Bren Gunner in a sort of a kneeling and ready position. I will say the Bren looks a little oversized as regards the barrel, but it's still not a bad sculpt at all. A nice pose too. Next to him there, as you can probably see, is the flamethrower. That is the, oh god, what was that called? Was it the number 2? Could be wrong there, but basically it was a short range flamethrower with a range of about, I think about 35 to 45 meters, if you were lucky, and very brave. I wouldn't fancy it myself. Next to him there we have the guy firing the Vickers. He's kind of in a kneeling position, and I'm wondering how he's going to interact with the gun, but I'll be putting them on a little beer mat, kind of a base for wargaming, so it'll probably be able to balance up anyway, fairly straightforwardly. On the other side of the sprue there you can see Headless Boy's anti-tank rifleman. His head is obviously on the sprue there as well. Then you have the HaT, and this guy here with no head and his hands up, that's where the rangefinder slots in. And so that's that. This chap here, where my thumb is the Bren Gunner, and there's the Bren over there, so that slots in there quite nicely. I like the way they do that because you kind of get a very nice kind of a natural pose. It's rather than sort of a flat kind of a sculpt, you know, which is kind of not great in fairness in some of them, and it gives you a little bit more detail, I suppose, really. The Bren itself, yeah, quite nice there in fairness. And there's the Vickers. You also have the condensation water can there as well. There's the head for I think that's the boys guy, isn't it? It is, yeah. And the Vickers, and you can even see the little slot is open there for the belt to feed in. Not sure if that'll marry up quite well with it, but we'll see how it goes. Now you don't get a kind of a gun commander with this, as you can see. You get the Bren Gunner. In fact, to be honest with you, the Bren Gunner in leading position could easily have been sacrificed for a gun commander. It would have been nice, but at the end of the day, look, he's a nice figure as well, so we're not going to worry too much about that. And in fairness, with the British mortar set, you do get several figures, one of which could be easily utilised as a gun crew commander for this particular set. So no real arguments there, I suppose, to be fair. The Vickers, when assembled, if we can just pick it up here rather gingerly, this is what you will have. Okay, as you say, just a little bit of super glue into the tripod and off you go. So that's basically what's in that set, lads. That's the World War II British machine guns. I'm going to crack on and paint these guys up, and we will get back to you straight away with that. And we might do a little comparison to these guys in comparison to, we'll say, some other British soldiers or models we have there, British figures, some Revel and some Airfix and that, just for a size comparison, so you'll see how well they'll match in with anything you may have yourself. So I'll be right back to you guys. Stay right where you are. Hey guys, we've returned with the painted figures. They were given a coat of matte 26 for the uniforms, 83 for the webbing, matte black for boots, matte black for the Bren, the boys anti-tank rifle and bits and pieces, and matte 86 for the Vickers itself and the HaT. All in all, I'm pretty happy with them. As I say, I'm not the greatest painter of figures, to be fair, but for my purposes, I'm more than happy with them. Nice little range of figures. The World War II British machine guns by HaT, I have to say, and they will be used to augment other, shall we say, battalions from other brands such as Rebel and Airfix as well. So let's just have a little look at them here if we can. Here is the HaT guy, again based on beer mats, a bit of Hornby Railway Flock as usual. Happy enough with that. They were given, did a little bit of dry brushing on them as well, just mixed up some of the matte 26 with some matte white, and give them a little bit of dry brushing and some Nullen Oil by Citadel, or Nullen Oil, whichever way you want to pronounce that, put over it then. So happy enough with that. Not great detail on the HaT and the inside of it there, in fairness, but other than that, I'm happy enough with that particular figure, in fairness. Classic Bren in prone position, of course, here. Yeah, the Bren's a little bit oversized maybe, but it's okay. And again, just a nice pose, really. Really like this guy, actually. Didn't think I would at first, but I don't know if you can see that. That's the Flamethrower, the Lifebuoy Flamethrower. Pretty nice little figure. He has the kind of leather jerkin on as well. I hope the light is picking that up because it's not great here today and I don't have any overhead lighting. But a nice little figure, and a little bit unusual. I haven't seen too many of those. There's a few brands haven't, but that one now is a nice little figure that I'm delighted I have. The Vickers itself, of course. Nice little set, of course. Vickers is always a cool weapon to have in your battalions for wargaming. And I'm quite happy with that. Pretty straightforward, as I always say. And I was kind of concerned about the way that the figure operating, the number one operating the gun itself, was kind of positioned, but it kind of looks like he's leaning into it to kind of get a sight picture down the sight mechanism of the weapon itself. So that's pretty cool. Happy enough with that. Couldn't get the ammunition belt to go into the little slot, so I just left it as it was. So that was that. A bit of laziness on my behalf, maybe. And the Bren in the kind of crouched or readying position, I think that Bren is a little bit oversized, to be fair, but at the same time, it's not the worst, and I'm quite happy with it. Nice pose, to be fair. The guy with the rangefinder, he's pretty cool, I have to say, too. Like him, and I'll probably incorporate him into the mortar set as well, using one or two of those guys. Where is this guy? The boys anti-tank rifle. I'll be using these for mainly late war stuff, but at the same time, it was in the box. I said I'd paint him up. As I say, boys anti-tank rifle probably obsolete by the Northwest European campaigns that I'd be fighting, but at the same time still nice to have it pretty cool in itself. As regards a size comparison, because none of these guys are actually standing, I'll just see if we can kind of give you an indication anyway. Guy on the left there, in front of the Vickers, just move the Vickers out of the way there, maybe move these guys over. Guy on the left is the Airfix from 1970, a long time ago. So they're 176, so don't match in brilliantly with those, to be fair. This is the current Airfix offering in 172. Nice figures, actually. Can't wait to get the paintbrush to those guys and do a review for you. They're pretty cool. Not without their faults, but at the same time, I actually quite like them. I didn't think I would. And then this is the Rebel guys from back in the 90s. I like those. Could have had a few more poses, but again, a review on those coming up sometime in the future. You might notice his shading's a bit weird. That's Citadel Flesh Wash. Back in the day, it was all the craze for about 5 minutes to cover the entire figure in flesh wash rather than just the flesh itself. I'm kind of sorry I did that, but I might redo them. We'll see how it goes. So that's basically it, guys. That is my little review on the HaT World War II British machine guns. I have to say, I'm quite happy with them, to be honest, as you can probably tell. They could be better, could have had a little bit more detail, could have been worse. So from that perspective, I'm quite chuffed with them, and as I say, I know I'm not the greatest painter out there, but they'll match in quite nicely with the various bits and pieces I have for rapid fire purposes. So if you're looking for a set where you need a Vickers and maybe you need a rangefinder and a Flamethrower, You really couldn't go wrong with this set. And if you can get the complimentary set, the British mortars, World War II British mortars by HaT, you really you will be sorted, because as I say, there's 32 figures in the set, so that'll give you 64 in total, so that's more than enough to be going on with, as they say. So if you'd like and subscribe and all that business, that'd be wonderful, and we'll be back to you fairly shortly with another review. Thank you very much. Take care.